I am endowed with a tenacious spirit that defies mortality. From the moment of my birth, I was swapped, and my adoptive parents attempted on numerous occasions to extinguish my life. For a month, they endeavored to starve me. My cries reverberated through the village, shaking its very foundations. At the age of 3, they abandoned me in the depths of the mountains, only for the wild beasts to flee in terror as I was returned to safety by a tiger. When I was 5, they cast me into a river in an attempt to drown me. The river itself split in twain, allowing me to float serenely in the midst of its currents. It was soon discovered that I possessed an extraordinary requirement for oxygen, necessitating the constant presence of an oxygen tank. At 10, they severed my oxygen supply, hoping to suffocate me. With a single punch, I caused the entire village to crumble. From that moment forth, my adoptive parents lived in trepidation, while the village adopted an air of benevolence. 2 decades later, overwhelmed by the exorbitant costs of my oxygen needs, my adoptive parents had no choice but to return me to the affluent family from whence I came. On the very day of my return, the false daughter of the household grasped my hand affectionately, her demeanor feeble and pitiable. "Sister, please do not cast me aside. Simply allow me to remain by our parents' side like a cherished pet, a little cat or dog." When I gazed at her in bewilderment, unable to comprehend, when did I ever express a desire to cast you out? The faux heiress momentarily faltered, her eyes shimmering with excitement. "Sister, you're not sending me away? I am truly delighted. Rest assured, as long as you permit me to stay, I am willing to endure some grievances. After all, I have usurped your identity as the true heiress for 20 years, and I carry a sense of guilt within me." The chilly winter wind stung my skin, causing me to shiver uncontrollably. Upon hearing her words, my confusion deepened. "Are you truly suffering as a young lady from a wealthy family?" The faux heiress instinctively tightened her grip. I felt a sharp pain and promptly pushed her away, retracting my hand. "You've hurt me. My constitution is peculiar. I possess heightened sensitivity, particularly to pain. My body is inherently frail, and a mere pinch would leave red marks on my skin." A gentle shove sent the faux heiress crumpling to the ground, her eyes downcast as tears welled up. Addressing her affluent parents, "Mom and Dad, I bear no ill will towards my sister. It is my fault. I stumbled and fell. It has nothing to do with her." My body felt wretched, trembling uncontrollably as I hastily retrieved an oxygen tank from my backpack and inhaled deeply. Witnessing my fragile state, the affluent parents were filled with concern, casting a complex glance towards the faux heiress. My mother admonished her, "Nuan, cease your antics. Just look at how emaciated your sister has become." Her pallid visage, trembling frame, and the act of inhaling oxygen, the tension was palpable. The faux heiress harbored a deep-seated animosity towards me, yet dared not overtly expel me, instead shedding tears in silent indignation. My elder brother, visibly displeased, approached with aggression, shoving me aside and striking me. "What are you pretending? You've taken my oxygen tank and tossed it into the nearby pool. Don't think that this will grant you entry into our home. The Lin family does not welcome you." I maintained a stoic demeanor. My second brother, alarmed, rushed in. "Elder brother, what are you doing? How can you provoke your sister?" Suddenly, a loud thud echoed as I kicked my elder brother, sending him crashing against the wall, motionless. My second brother, terrified, hurried to assist him. "Elder brother, do not provoke our sister. She may appear delicate, but her strength is formidable." My elder brother, dislodged from the wall, clutched his chest, his voice trembling. "I can see that." Our parents, alarmed, hastily summoned the family doctor and called for an ambulance to rush my incapacitated elder brother to the hospital. Only the faux heiress and I remained. She approached me, her smile condescending and triumphant. "Now you're finished. You shall never set foot in the Lin family home." She crossed her arms, exuding an air of superiority. "Elder brother is the pillar of this family, and you dare to send him to the hospital? Mom and Dad must loathe you. If I were you, I would hastily retreat to my adoptive parents' home to avoid being ostracized by elder brother." I simply retrieved another mini oxygen tank from my backpack, inhaling deeply, and retorted, "Do you also wish to be embedded in the wall?" The faux heiress's complexion paled. "Do not think you can enter the Lin family." I calmly asserted, "I must enter. Too, my constitution is unique, necessitating a substantial intake of oxygen. My delicate physique cannot endure hardship. I am destined for a life of luxury. My adoptive parents have told me that my biological parents are affluent, and entering the Lin family will grant me a life of comfort. The news of my confrontation with my elder brother spread throughout the villa, leaving all the servants trembling in fear upon seeing me. I sat in the living room, awaiting their return. As dusk approached, my second brother returned with the reluctant affluent parents, who implored, "Mom, Nuan is your true daughter. We cannot allow her to suffer. Look at how haggard your daughter appears." Although she did injure elder brother, it was in self-defense. Ultimately, they agreed to let me stay, considering my formidable strength. My mother turned to me, "Have you chosen your room?" Before I could respond, the faux heiress timidly interjected, "Mom, let my sister have my room. It rightfully belongs to her. My presence has taken what belongs to her. I bear no resentment and simply hope she will not despise me." In my leisure, I had perused tales of the genuine and faux heiresses, never expecting to find myself amidst such a narrative. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, instantly capturing the family's sympathy. I furrowed my brows, surveying the spacious room, ideal for housing numerous oxygen tanks, constantly supplying me with the oxygen I required. The other rooms appeared rather cramped. I had already envisioned my arrangement in my mind and nodded. "Very well, since you willingly relinquish it, I shall not hesitate." I intended to step into the faux heiress's room when my father, displeased, reached to restrain me but then hesitated at the thought of my elder brother, saying, "Wait. As the elder sister, you should yield to your younger sister. It is inappropriate to seize her room upon your arrival." My mother nodded, empathizing with the faux heiress. "Indeed, during your absence, your father and I struggled, relying on Nuan to alleviate our sorrow. Now that you have returned, it would be upsetting to displace her." I looked at them in confusion. Didn't Nuan voluntarily offer her room? How did this become my bullying of them? My second brother, supporting a limping elder brother, witnessed the faux heiress in tears and could not contain his anger. "Lin, what is wrong with you? Coming back to bully my sister?" My second brother quickly intervened. "Shoo. Elder brother." My elder brother shrugged him off. "I refuse to converse with someone who betrays their own kin. In my heart, only Nuan is my sister. I do not acknowledge Lin, and I wish for her to leave." Upon entering, chaos ensued in the household. The faux heiress, in a pitiful manner, pleaded, "Elder brother, please don't be like this. I willingly gave up my room." My elder brother gazed at her earnestly. "Nuan, tell me the truth. Did Lin threaten you?" "Do not fear, I will protect you." His limping demeanor, coupled with his words, appeared absurdly comical. He stood before me. "Lin, you are not welcome here. Leave the Lin family. Otherwise, do not blame me for being merciless and having someone throw you out. You may possess strength, but I do not believe you can shatter the earth." I found the noise unbearable. My heart raced as I began to suffocate. I reached for my oxygen tank, desperately attempting to inhale, only to be struck away by my elder brother. My second brother, failing to intervene in time, retreated several paces, kneeling before the heavens in prayer for my elder brother. My gaze turned icy. I cannot shatter the earth. Seizing an ashtray, I hurled it towards the faux heiress's room. Bang! The tremendous sound reverberated, shaking the very souls of everyone present. A gaping hole appeared in the faux heiress's room, revealing the beautiful blue sky beyond. I casually dusted off my hands, casting a sidelong glance at my second brother. He eagerly handed me the oxygen tank. "Sister, please." I pressed the button on the oxygen tank, feeling the rich oxygen envelop me, and my weary body relaxed. After standing for too long, I felt utterly exhausted and sank onto the sofa, inhaling deeply before mustering the strength to communicate with them. "I have no interest in meddling with your familial bonds. I am here to join this family, not to dismantle it." After speaking, I took another deep breath. I have a substantial need for oxygen, and my adoptive parents have supported me in this. You possess wealth and can provide me with a good life, so I shall not leave. However, rest assured, I harbor no feelings for you. I only wish to survive. There is no need for parental affection. Simply providing me with financial support each month will suffice. Observing my resolute demeanor, my elder brother felt a mix of anger and trepidation. The second brother chuckled obsequiously. No problem. We have money, and we will definitely give you what you want." If humans had tails, his would have been soaring high into the sky. Initially, he regarded me with disdain, accusing me of being a mere burden. However, after a lesson I imparted, he became considerably more subdued. During our journey, we encountered a band of outlaws, and he nearly lost his life at their hands. With a stomp of my foot, the ground beneath the 5 outlaws split open, trapping them within. Meanwhile, a few of the second brother's companions found themselves tied to a tree. I simply uprooted the tree to free them and then replanted it back into the ground. Turning around, I noticed the second brother gazing at me with a newfound fervor, his enthusiasm noticeably heightened. The eldest brother was astonished. Linyi, how could you damage the warm room? Where will Nuan stay tonight? I was exasperated and seized the eldest brother's right hand, tossing him through the gaping hole I had just created. The wealthy parents screamed in dismay, their vision blurring. The second brother appeared deeply concerned. I elegantly returned to the sofa, beginning to inhale oxygen. I wouldn't perish. At most, I would endure multiple fractures, but timely rescue was assured. Father reproached me for lacking respect towards family, insisting that my treatment of the eldest brother was inappropriate. Mother lamented that the eldest brother was the pillar of our family. If anything happened to him, our ancestral home would surely look down upon us even more, leading to a further depletion of our finances. The mere mention of financial woes triggered my alertness. Just as I was about to inquire further, I turned to find them gone. Never mind, I would ask next time. I casually found a guest room, intending to rest when a timid knock echoed at the door. Miss, a distinguished guest has arrived. It is the Chiao family. Our recent partners and Miss Nuan's fiancé, someone of great importance to the Lin family. We must not neglect him. I sat up in shock. Would neglecting him not be detrimental to the Lin family? Would that not lead to financial ruin? That was unacceptable. Having been a good-for-nothing all my life, only adept at play, I was now the sole occupant of the house. With a distinguished guest arriving, I had to host him properly. I inhaled several bottles of oxygen, enough to last an hour, and, maintaining my composure, I suppressed my emotions to avoid acute hypoxia. Upon stepping outside, I discovered it was my fiancé. He was taken aback by my beauty. Seeing me appear delicate and fragile, he intended to take advantage of my solitude. I promptly kicked him out, leaving yet another substantial hole in the wall. When the second brother returned and noticed the new hole, he remained unfazed and did not inquire about it, instead leading me to a different location. Arriving at a new villa, I realized returning was indeed the right choice. As expected, the wealthy were affluent, lacking for nothing in terms of property. The second brother endeavored to appease me, saying, "This matter will not be disclosed. Dear sister, rest assured and recuperate here." He handed me a black card, an unlimited credit card, allowing me to venture wherever I pleased, but with one stipulation. The second brother scrutinized my expression, cautiously observing my reaction. Noting my lack of resistance, he eventually said, "When you go out to play, try to be a bit more restrained. You grew up in the countryside and are less familiar with city matters. While it's fine among family, outsiders can easily land you in jail, which, while not entirely detrimental, could lead to you being subjected to research. Do not be upset, sister. I only wish for your well-being." I inhaled oxygen while pondering his words. Finding merit in his advice, I nodded, "All right, for your sake." The second brother inquired with the informed servant, learning that the Chiao family's visitor had been repelled by me. After a moment of silence, he returned to the hospital and recounted the entire incident. That evening, the wealthy parents came personally to apologize, which I accepted. As we departed, a vehicle stopped before us. "The ancestral home requests your presence." I observed the wealthy parents' expression shift dramatically, and the second brother's face paled slightly. A stranger alighted from the vehicle, his hair predominantly gray yet exuding a composed demeanor. He approached my father directly, presenting an invitation. "Sir, the old master requests your presence tonight, along with the true daughter returned home." The old gentleman further remarked that they had neglected the ancestral home, failing to bring the true daughter back to pay their respects, and that an apology was in order. He then turned to scrutinize me, assessing my stature. "You are the true daughter who has returned?" I emphasized, "I was abducted," pointing at the false daughter. "Her parents were the ones who took me." I was aware of this fact, but held no resentment. The false daughter turned pale as I continued. "My adoptive parents treated me well. I bear no ill will towards her." This was genuinely true. Although I had been abducted, my adoptive parents had fulfilled my every need, providing me with what I desired, and I was easily satisfied, not yearning for what was beyond their means. Furthermore, I was indifferent to emotional ties and preferred not to engage with them excessively, while the false daughter had developed bonds with her adoptive family. By dismissing the false daughter, I would only be burdened with the responsibilities of a daughter, which was troublesome. My declaration of no resentment towards the false daughter only intensified the guilt in their gazes directed at me, causing her to lower her head in shame. The residents of the ancestral home seemed indifferent, merely stating, "The old master specifically mentioned you," hoping you would not bring the rustic odors from the countryside into the ancestral home. Regarding the conditions of the ancestral home, it was advised that I maintain a pleasant demeanor lest. Father grew alarmed, hastily pushing him toward the vehicle. "We are aware, we understand. We will ensure our daughter is well-mannered. Please return to relay this message." As the car door was shut, he urged the driver to depart promptly. This was the old steward of the ancestral home, his hair nearly all white. With frail limbs, a mere shove from me could lead to more than just a fracture. It could very well cost him his life. Once the residents of the ancestral home were sent away, the wealthy parents exchanged glances with me and then with the second brother. Aware that the second brother held a favorable position in my heart, they encouraged him to persuade me, "Sister, there will be many people at the ancestral home, but if we do not attend, they may intrude, leading to an awkward situation. Moreover, our family holds little weight in the ancestral home, so we must go. Otherwise, the ancestral home may resort to tricks, jeopardizing our business." Thus, they implored. "Could you possibly rein in your demeanor?" The prospect of failure meant financial ruin. I resolutely declared I need money. I readily acquiesced to the second brother's request. In the oxygen-rich villa, I had forgotten to bring my oxygen tank, and at that moment, my face began to pale. "Inhale oxygen." The second brother dashed over, returning swiftly with the oxygen tank in hand. Upon arriving at the ancestral home, the air within the vehicle, enriched by the second brother's efforts, left me feeling remarkably comfortable. I believed I could manage for the next 2 hours without needing additional oxygen. Upon disembarking, the family surrounded me and ushered me inside. Upon my entrance, the residents of the ancestral home only conversed with my wealthy parents, 2 elder brothers, and the false daughter, completely disregarding me. I remained unperturbed, quietly finding a seat. Almost immediately, someone approached to provoke me. "Hey, is this a place for you to sit?" Another taunted, "Why are you talking to her? Just a country bumpkin." Honestly, what is a country bumpkin doing at a family banquet? This is just giving the fourth family some face, but they hardly deserve it. A wealthy family has a child who was switched at birth. What a laugh. I heard she was abducted, and it was the false daughter's parents who did it. Can you believe they treat the false daughter like a treasure? Such a rustic thing. Had it been me, I would have discarded it long ago. Yet they treat her like a gem. Just look at her. The wealthy parents, in a state of distress, rushed forward. "This is our fault. But you cannot speak ill of our daughter." "Yes, what if she grew up in the countryside?" I watched them quietly. They seemed to dismiss my wealthy parents entirely. Seeing them protect me, the taunts shifted to assaulting my wealthy parents, questioning why they were not favored by the grandfather. With the second brother nearby providing quiet translations, I comprehended the veiled threats and the snide remarks in their words. The expressions on my parents' faces shifted like a kaleidoscope. I grasped the situation. My mother, as a foster daughter, had married into the family for the sake of an alliance, thus she was not favored, and the ancestral home looked down upon her. My father, being an unfavored son, rendered their status within the Lin family quite low. It was precisely due to their diminished standing that my mother was wed to him. Her family background was also unimpressive, considered a small household by the Lin family. Nevertheless, they maintained an air of cordiality outwardly, being part of a prominent family. Even though my elder and second brothers were exceptionally talented, they still held us in contempt. Remembering my second brother's admonition, I stifled my emotions. However, my heart raced, and the air around me felt stifling. Unable to endure any longer, I seized the oxygen tank and took a breath. The person beside me turned pale and exclaimed, "Ah, Linny, are you using drugs?" This utterance captured everyone's attention, and their expressions changed dramatically. Grandfather, seated at the head of the table, thundered, "How dare you? Linny, what a disgraceful family to invite a drug dealer into our midst. Throw them out." My second brother hastily clarified, "This is oxygen. My sister has a congenital weakness. It's not drugs, so refrain from making baseless accusations." Others, however, scrutinized me closely, yet still ridiculed me, claiming I was a drug addict unworthy of entering the ancestral home. They sneered, a sickly genuine heiress and a human trafficker posing as one, with two inconsequential parents. What a perfect match. Who could argue otherwise? If I were a true heiress, I wouldn't return to that dilapidated family. What difference would it make? But a true heiress from the countryside would be naive and inexperienced. Upon hearing about prominent parents, wouldn't she come running like a lapdog? Laughter erupted across the room. I inhaled deeply from the oxygen tank. Observing my state, my father interjected, enough of this. Should anything occur, don't blame me for not warning you. This was met with a chorus of derision. The members of the prominent family ceased their chatter, rising in unison to observe from a distance. The inhabitants of the ancestral home looked on in confusion. In the next moment, I single-handedly upended the 5-meter-long table, sending it flying. Crash! The entire eastern wall of the 3-story villa slowly collapsed. They screamed, rushing downstairs in panic. I followed the prominent family out of the villa. Before long, the villa lay in ruins. Silence enveloped the scene. I smiled slightly. I apologize. My congenital weakness necessitates oxygen for survival. Your previous noise quickened my heartbeat, leading to a lack of oxygen, which caused me to lose control of my body. I hope this hasn't caused you any inconvenience. Inconvenience? You've sent a 5-meter table flying and collapsed the front wall. This villa worth 5 billion has become a heap of rubble. The old man coughed violently, taking medication to ease his breath, struggling to speak, yet words remained lodged in his throat. It takes strength to overturn a 5-meter table. She threw it out. Has this house become ruins? Is she some kind of monster? Their voices trembled. My mother quickly cautioned, do not speak thus. My daughter is inherently fragile. You must show understanding. The tremor in her tone revealed her concealed amusement at the moment. She gestured for them to be silent, as their incitement could provoke my ire, with her well-being at stake. The group immediately fell silent, unwilling to speak further. Witnessing the ancestral home's humiliation brought joy to my prominent parents, who had often been the subject of ridicule during previous visits, bearing their frustrations in silence. Finally, they could hold their heads high. I smiled gently. For the sake of being family, I shall tolerate this once. No one dared to mock again. I could easily turn their villa to rubble or send them flying with a single punch. Many were left questioning their own reality, pinching themselves in disbelief. I smiled faintly, furrowing my brow as I looked elsewhere. My second brother attentively brought me a chair, and I sighed in relief, accepting the oxygen tank he offered and began to breathe deeply. Surely, no one would dare to underestimate me now. If they valued wealth, they would come flocking. The gazes from the ancestral home turned respectful. Grandfather took a moment to regain his composure, staring at me for a while. Welcome home. Will you still be dining? I smiled softly. Is there still food? Grandfather nodded hastily. Yes, there's a dining area next door for gatherings. I took my place at the head of the table, while the others sat beside me. The dining table was quite large, yet everyone else stood awkwardly, eating from bowls, lacking decorum. The meal was pleasant, filled with jokes I had never heard before. I felt joyful, reluctant to leave. I will return in a few days. I hope this place can be filled with oxygen, or it will be too exhausting. I felt significantly better once back in the car. Arriving home, I felt even more at ease. The oxygen here was uniquely suited to me, which is why my prominent family resided in the villa next door. As I stepped out of the car, their expressions conveyed a deeper respect than at the outset. My mother, smiling awkwardly, said, Thank you. I didn't expect you to speak up for us. I replied softly, they were too noisy. Before I could say more, my fiancé's family arrived, pushing their way in. My second brother stepped in front of me. Let us discuss this civilly. Why resort to violence? This prevented them from reaching me, and they pointed at my second brother, demanding, discuss civilly? How did my son end up with a broken bone? He keeps insisting it's Lin Yi's fault, and she must pay for it. Yes, bring that little wretch Lin Yi out here, or else we will cease our collaboration with the Lin family. You are the least favored in the Lin family. Without the Chiao family as support, how do you expect to stand firm? They warned. Be wise and apologize to my son, and let Lin Yi entertain him. My second brother quietly inquired, did your son explain what happened? They defiantly replied, of course. He was bullied by you. What else could it be? Hand over that wretch. Don't forget, you're relying on the Chiao family for support. If that's gone, you won't be able to lift your heads in the ancestral home. I found the labyrinth of the affluent family's dynamics perplexing. I inquired further. Gaining a rough understanding. Collaborating with the Chiao family was essential for gaining recognition from the ancestral home. Their company would also benefit from the ancestral home's protection, leading to greater success and elevated status. However, should the Chiao family withdraw, their situation would worsen. Once I grasped the situation, they had already begun squabbling. I sat in the car, inhaling oxygen, contemplating deeply. My unappreciated prominent parents could grant me unlimited black cards. If they were completely disregarded, wouldn't that mean the end of those black cards? My second brother nodded repeatedly. Indeed, we pulled together for those black cards. He chuckled awkwardly. We still present ourselves as a facade of affluence to the outside world, and maintaining that image requires substantial funds. However, as we are not favored, we can only consume their leftovers, so we often find ourselves short on cash. Only now have I and my elder brother improved slightly, taking on various jobs to ease our situation at home. Even so, the ancestral home still looks down on us, so securing the Chiao family partnership is crucial. Without it, I truly struggled to comprehend the intricate web of relationships, yet I understood how to command obedience. I needed money and the power of my affluent parents to secure a comfortable life. Most importantly, if they lost favor, I would be subjected to ridicule upon stepping outside. That would be quite bothersome. Thus, I exited the car and pulled my elder brother away from the argument. He had been rolling up his sleeves, but in mid-motion, he found himself in a new location upon realizing I had intervened. Seeing me emerge only fueled their anger. You must pay for my son's life. I'll have you thrown into prison. I didn't waste words. Casting a fleeting glance, I embedded several seemingly inconsequential members of the Chiao family into the ground. My second brother remarked that this was a case of killing the chicken to scare the monkey. If we were to target the more significant figures, it might foster enmity. A person possesses only two eyes and cannot stand guard 24 hours a day. Thus, there are bound to be moments of oversight. Therefore, enmity must be avoided. I clapped my hands, standing before the Chiao parents with a gentle smile. Shall we settle this with a life for a life? They stared blankly, shaking their heads. No. No. Shall we cooperate? Indeed. I replied with satisfaction, turning to them. It is resolved. My second brother's expression changed dramatically. Be careful. In an instant, the adversary had already taken flight. He sighed in exasperation, pointing at them. I warned you to be cautious, but you wouldn't listen. With a cheerful grin, my second brother lightly patted my shoulder, saying, You've worked hard, sister. Go and rest well. The next day, rumors circulated about my frail constitution juxtaposed with an unparalleled martial prowess. The Chiao family respectfully presented the contract. Accompanying them was the unwilling fiancé who was no longer merely a betrothed. I took the initiative to dissolve the engagement, fully aware that the false heiress was reluctant to marry. Upon hearing my refusal of the union, yet stating it would not affect our collaboration, the false heiress's eyes sparkled with delight as she began to call me sister every day. Thus, I found myself with an eager attendant. Whatever I wished to eat, the false heiress would endeavor to learn. Whatever I favored, she would strive to master. My life transformed into one of indulgence, where my needs were effortlessly met. Consequently, I grew accustomed to encountering my desires and whims, casually casting them aside. The false heiress proved to be exceedingly attentive, acquiring an increasing array of skills, while the status of the affluent parents became ever more pronounced. The old residents dared not treat matters lightly. Should they falter, I would take action. And with my intervention, the consequence would inevitably lead them to the hospital. Indeed, under absolute strength, they were rendered compliant. Thus, I enjoyed a life of luxury and abundance, untroubled by the scarcity of oxygen. The end. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next story.